Welcome back, fellow Scrubs. This is MarcDWyz, your host for the GameDevScrubs. I'm trying to bring chat up here. I had it, and then I didn't have it, and then I got it again. Hello, everybody. Alright, we're ready to go. So, this is the Retro Mansion game stream. This is an indie game. It's basically a old school platformer with some exploration elements, some new, hopefully new twist on some stuff. And today I want to start off by showing the Parallax here. I don't believe I've actually shown that I fixed it. I think I forgot to show that last time because we were doing pixel art stuff and we got off on questions, and that's fine. Questions are very much encouraged. But I think I forgot to actually show this here and how this actually works. So see, it's actually working now. It's locked onto the character, and then I can move around and all that. And so you can see all the layers doing their thing. So what I wanted to show was here, how this works here. The way that the layers are, they're all locked to the camera. So depending on where the camera goes, they exist only where the camera is, right? So, you can see this layer is actually repeating 3 times because it needs to be that big in order to be totally visible when it snaps back. So watch this cloud, it snaps back. It'll get so far and it'll snap back. And let me enlarge that. And then I'll show you, I believe if I highlight it, let's see where is clouds fast, right? Okay, here. Now it shows you the whole contents of the layer. See where the green is? And the red line here is a debug line that's drawn to show you how far it needs to go to start repeating. And the fact that it's also auto-scrolling as well, so it will repeat itself even if I don't move. But you can see that it changes. It's slower that way, but it's quicker this way to start repeating. And then the blue line here is actually where the layer is anchored to in the world, and it's just showing you the connection to that point. That's what the red dot is. I think you can, if I turn gizmos on here, you can see it too, but you don't get the full picture because, you know, you're only seeing what the camera sees. So, yeah. So that works. Except that doesn't work. The janky platforming code, whatever I put in here. We're gonna have to put up with it today because what I really want to focus on is trying to get the ability to change levels. So unload a level and to load a level. But before that, I thought of a neat little thing that might look cool as I was sitting here waiting to go live. Waiting for that 8 o'clock. Actually on time today, right? What a miracle. So the moon here, what I want to do is I want to make the clouds flicker over the moon, but only when they're over the moon, right? So there's one way to do that. And, well, there's a couple ways to do that. But I do need to edit the sprite here. So, let's see. Click on this, brings me here. I'm gonna have to actually edit this, right? Yeah. Okay. Just a test graphic. The first problem I need to alleviate is the fact that there's this background down here. So is this, it is indexed. I guess there's no mask here, but we'll, we have to be able to edit the palette. This is quick and dirty, but it should work. So what I'm going, oh, no, that's not what I want. Can I collect that? Does it not allow a mask? Transparent colors. ID 0. Okay. Okay, so if I use this, maybe it'll be transparent. It is not an animated loop. Let's see. Nope, it is not. Okay. Let's ditch the palette. Okay. Ah, why is it still doing it? I have no transparency? What happened? What did I do? Color profile. I don't know what's going on. Why is it not transparent? What did I do? Okay, create a palette. Create a transparent entity. Oh, it doesn't. Transparent color only for indexed images. Square pixels. sRGB. I guess? Color profile none? What does that do? Convert? It doesn't do shit. Doesn't do anything! Why can't I do what I want? Alright. Copy. New. Don't think you can outsmart me. Create a palette with a transparent. Boom. Oh, it's still not? No, wait. No, it's fine. It's fine. It only looks like that because there's a checker pattern when it's... Maybe it was that way the whole time? Was it that way the whole time? And I just didn't understand? For being dumb? No, it's like totally broke. Alright, whatever. That's fine. We'll just do it this way. File, save as. We are nowhere near that file. Hold on. It is supposed to be here. Assets, test graphics. Okay. Save as. Wait, can I just copy the... Put that here, right? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, overwrite that damn moon. Get out of here. There we go. Do not save the old one. Okay, finally. Are we good? Where's Unity? What happened to Unity? Here's Unity. Yes, we're good, finally. There's no corners around it. There's a couple ways to do this. This one's gonna be quick and dirty, but you can accomplish this in a couple different ways. So what I want to do is copy that moon. I'm gonna call it moon over. And let's see, let's take a look at these. These are back -4, so this one needs to be back -5. No, back -3. And now the moon is over, right? But there's 2 of them, so if I flicker it on and off, yeah, you see what I'm gonna do? If you do that fast enough, it should work. So I'm gonna say render frame tick controller. I don't know if that's a good name for it or not, but we're gonna go with it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make a late update. Just gonna make it count how many frames have happened, and then it'll flip a bool. So private bool tick equals false. So if time.render, come on, give me IntelliSense. Here we go. Rendered frame count. This is, I believe, an undocumented value unless they've actually allowed it now. So serialize field private integer tick duration, and we're gonna say this has a minimum of 1. And this can be tick duration equals 0. So what this does, this is a modulator operator. It's gonna cycle whatever this number is. This could be 100, but it's gonna cycle it based on this. And so when you do mod by 1, I'm trying to think now, is it exclusionary? can it actually get to 2 or not? So if this was 2. I think your results are 0 and 1. Yeah, that's how it works. So this is 2. If you mod by 2, the only results you can get are 0 and 1. It won't actually reach 2. So if you have it 1, it's always going to resolve to 0, so it will constantly be flipping it back and forth. So tick equals not tick basically inverts the true false. And so we're gonna add a Unity event to handle this. So Unity event, Unity engine events. Public Unity event. I'm thinking, should I send it a bool or not? Nah, I'm just gonna do an on and off. So there'll be an event for on and an event for off. So this will be on tick on, tick on tick on. Usually you start events with on because you're like, oh, on a weapon collision, or on jumped, on player jumped, or on player entered door, or something like that. Because it's an event on and so forth. I guess on tick on and then on tick off. All right, that's fine. Whatever. So this will oscillate here, and we'll say if the tick is on, then we want on tick on. Now on invoke. There's question mark here. This checks to see if this is valid first before you do the invoke. I don't think it's absolutely necessary here, but it doesn't hurt. It's also, and hold on, let me finish this part here. An invoke sends out the notification. So if the tick gets reversed, and then now if it's on, it sends this, and now if it's off, it sends this. It only sends it one time when it flips back and forth. So if you say, well, every 5 frames, I want it to do that, that's what will happen there. We're probably going to do 1 here, but we're just making a generic class, and we can use this forever if we want. So I'm going to say this is header. This is just like a note. Tick settings. And then down here, header. Events, whatever, it don't matter. Okay, so what I was going to say is this is shorthand for doing this, for doing if is not equal to null. So doing a null check before you actually activate it, make sure that this is actually something and it doesn't, like crash or throw an error. That's the shorthand for that, is just doing this. Now, it doesn't work for like everything. I think it only works on classes that have methods, but I don't think it works on like properties. It's a little weird. Sometimes it'll be mad about it, and sometimes it won't. And I couldn't tell you exactly why or what the total restrictions are. But I do use it quite often, especially on things like events and such. If you use a C# delegate, I think it can actually be null. If you wipe it, it's a null. But then you can add to it. You can add the delegate to it, but you don't want to call it when it's null. So I think this actually is really helpful there. That's probably why I do it on Unity events, but I don't think you really need to. Especially if you instantiate them. But they're being serialized anyway, so it should be fine. Anyway, so compile that script. We should get our properties here. Hey, look at that. And I'm gonna say when the tick is on, drag our object here, sprite renderer. Where's enabled? True. And when tick is off, when it's ticked off, get it? Yeah, it's fine. You don't come here for the comedy. Tick is on, it turns on. Tick is off, turns off. And then it'll oscillate. Now, you could probably do this in normal update, but I do like to do it in late update. So update, as far as I'm aware, only occurs, late update only occurs when you actually render a frame. So it should flicker it based on render. So if it ever drops to like 30 FPS for whatever reason, the moon just won't disappear or just flick solid. It'll actually take the frame rate into account. And that's always cool. So let's see if it actually works. Hey, yeah, look at it. Okay. There. Now you can see him kind of like flicker through the moon. It's kind of cool, right? What do we have it set to? Would you have it set to 1? No, we got it set to 2. I was gonna say, it doesn't look like it's 1. Okay, so if we set it to 1, it'll be a much finer flicker. See, it looks much smoother. That's probably what I would go for, as I expected. Too much Sonic 3? Or so much Sonic 3. Yeah, yeah, I did, what, Mushroom Hill? Before this one? Shut up, Sonic 3 is good. I like the boss theme, Sonic 3. That's like the best boss theme in all of Sonic. It's just cool, it just sounds dreadful. Anyway, yeah, I think 1 is the sweet spot here. Isn't that neat? And there's a couple ways you could do that. You don't have to just turn the sprite render on and off. You could actually just do it with the other moon and then change the order and layer. So let's copy this, turn this one off, and I'll show that too. Okay, paste is new. Int sorting order, right? Yeah. Or order and layer. I'm not sure if that's the same thing. Can you get to order and layer? If you jump in front of the moon, Ricky will not get flickered over it because he's on a different layer. Sorting layer ID. I think it's sorting order. So normally the moon is -10, right? And we said it had to be -4 or 3? So order in layer, and we'll return it back to -10 when it ticks off. And we'll do 1. That should do it. I believe yeah, because I believe the clouds were on layer, or sorting order 4. And there you go. So that's another way to do it. If you don't want to turn it on and off, because maybe you have it animated to turn on and off at certain times, or you activate it at certain times, you just do this. Now the NES is actually capable of doing stuff like this, and what it would be doing is actually probably changing the clouds. Either the moon would be a sprite, yeah, the moon would have to be a sprite in this case. So the clouds are actually like tile layers that can slide by, like what we were talking about before about horizontal interrupt last time. So the tiles can slip by, and this would be a sprite, right? So you can designate on the NES, you can designate whether a sprite goes under or over the background layer. Remember, there's only one background layer, but you can tell it to go over or under. And that's why in like Mega Man 4, Mega Man is actually in the water in Frogman stage, because he's set to draw behind it. Like the rain is in front of him and all that. It's because he's behind the background layer. I'm pretty sure it's a sprite that gets set to that, but maybe it's the background tile that gets set to whether it's over or under. Anyway, you could oscillate that value back and forth every frame and say that the moon sprite over, moon sprite under, moon sprite over and under, over and under. It's kind of like what we're doing right now. So you could absolutely do this on the NES. It wouldn't be a big problem. The big problem would be using that many sprites for a moon, but, you know, it is what it is. Now, you couldn't get this. You couldn't get it to do this, though. You couldn't get it to go partially under and then also flicker. You'd have to have one or the other, because it would be under or over all layers, not just one. In this case, you know, obviously we're using different, yeah, fake. But it looks pretty cool, right? I like flicker. I think flicker is an underused, an underutilized, and underappreciated visual technique. Most people just say, oh, well, that's supposed to be transparent. They were just simulating transparency, and to some degree that's true, but transparency, even at 60 frames per second, that doesn't look the same as a flicker. So there's situations where you want to use both, I think. And hold on, I gotta put my arm brace on here, or my, well, shoulder, or elbow support, not arm brace, whatever, get the idea. Got too many damn contraptions to keep my damn arm together. No, transparency does not properly replace flicker. I agree. Absolutely, 100% agree. Because here, look at this, this shimmering effect is cool. Like, you won't get that with transparency. And it'll also make the clouds look weird everywhere else. They'll all be dim. And so you just can't do it. You can't get the same effect. For things like fog or things like a flashlight, you might want to employ at least some flickering. Now, you don't have to flicker visibility necessarily, like a hard on or off, but you could say, we're gonna flicker transparency. So here, watch this. Base component value. No, that's not what I want. We're gonna turn this one off. I'm gonna bring this one back on, right? Or, sorry, the whole object. I'm gonna turn this back on. Set to 1. And instead of that, I'm gonna change the color. If it'll let me. Can we change color? Color. Uh-oh. Maybe not. Enabled. We're on sprite renderer. Uh-oh. Can't do color? Oh, no. I was gonna start making it like half transparent and full transparent. I think we did that in Hamster Drop. It flickered, but it flickered the color value between half transparent and fully opaque. And that way it was a flicker and a transparency at the same time, which is a really cool way to do it. Because that way it kind of mixes the two ideas into one. Compared to transparency, flicker adds a feel of intangibility or energy. Yes, and that's why I use in Pocket Fighter, I resolve to use all flickers instead of any sort of transparency. Number one, because, you know, it's like retro style, so yeah, it makes more sense to do it that way. But I think it just adds something to it that you just don't see in a lot of other places. And you can do you can get a little more crazy than this. Here, let's do it right now. I'm gonna change this so that you can have duration on, tick duration on, and tick duration off. So you can say if tick is on. Oh, I love this track, by the way. It's so good. These Sonic CD like remixes or whatever they are fantastic. Okay, tick is on. Then we want to test with the on counter. Then tick gets turned off. I mean, we can, oops, no, false off. We can actually explicitly do this now, because we're gonna split up the logic here. Tick is turned off. And this red here, by the way, I was gonna share that too. What was this thing called? Extensions? Let's see. Can I filter by what I have? What do I have? Built-in, installed. Oh, what is it? What is it? It's some kind of like highlighter thing, and now I don't know what it's called. These are good too, unique snippets and Unity tools. But one of these is, oh, I bet it's this one, Prettier Code Formatter. And that gives me all these nice colors here. And what the red here is just saying that my indentation is actually off. So if I take that away, it goes away. It's very helpful. Very, very nice. Okay, so else tick is off. It's ticked off, right? And we'll just move this up. Oh, yeah, it's cap lock, not tab. And tick duration off. Let's see. Tick is turned on. So tick equals true. And then we do the on invoke. Now we've split up the amount of time of the on and off durations. So you could say 2 on, 1 off, or 3 on, 1 off, 3 on, 2 off, 3 off, 5 on, and that can actually give you different feelings about different materials. I think I use 3 on, 1 off for Fire in Pocket Fighter EX, as an example. I think Fire looks good if it's 3 on, 1 off. So let's make sure this actually works. So this should, let's see, make sure that one's off. This should not have changed functionality. This should still just be 1 on, 1 off. And it looks like it is. Yeah. So here's the thing now, we can say it's 2 on, 1 off. Yeah, it gives a little bit of a different kind of feel to it. 10 on, 1 off. Obviously a ridiculous result, but just to illustrate that, yeah, that's what it's doing. 3 on, 1 off. I like that combination for some things. Look how like shimmery it is, right? Isn't that cool? Use Flicker. Please, start using it. Nobody's using it. Everybody thinks Flicker is a relic of the past, but it has its uses. The moon is flickering in this case, not the cloud. But yeah, it gives you that effect. Yeah. Welcome, by the way. 4, you want to see 4? 4 on? It's gonna start to get really like on or off looking. Like it looks less and less shimmery and more like it's just strobing. It's not bad. It's honestly not that bad. And depends on what material you want to use. Let's see, if we move the anchor down, it'll be easier to see when it's on the lower, because it goes by slower. No, in this case what I did is I just made a second moon sprite. So there's a behind moon, so if I take the moon behind it, you see this one's always flickering. There's just a moon behind it. And I'm turning this sprite on and off as the frames get rendered. try 1.4 instead of 4.1? Oh, you just want to see what it looks like, I bet. Yeah. So this is 1 on and 4 off. So this prioritizes the showing the cloud instead of the other. Yeah. So there's a couple ways. Since you just popped in, let me show you. The other way we did it was turning this off, and then changing the sorting order number here can also give you the same effect without having to have 2 sprites. And so, let's see, like 3 off. There. It looks cool though, right? It depends. I don't know. I think it would also depend, because I'm looking at it with the gray box there. I think it would depend on what kind of scenery you have, depending on that. There is obviously some merit to having it that slow. It just gives like a different kind of feel. You think about like cloud density, you know, and like weather conditions and stuff can affect how the clouds actually look. It could absolutely affect how they look in front of the moon. It's kind of cool though. It's really cool. But yeah, if you use this way of checking your ticks, then you can do it based on frames. Render frames. Now, if you've got a game that can go into like 120 FPS mode, you might want to rethink that, because a render frame at that rate is much higher. But this prevents frame drops from looking weird when you have a certain set. I've been working on a more advanced version of this, but it's not ready yet, so that I could tell it, these are the hertz that I want to tick on, and then it will do that in conjunction with the render frame. So it will try to count actual hertz instead of, instead of just pure render frames. So say if I have, for example, and this is not realistic for this project, but say I want to make a 120 FPS mode and 60 FPS modes, and you can choose between them, or an unregulated frames per second mode, whatever the case may be. This strobing effect will change how fast, depending on how fast you have frames active. So this will be twice as fast if it was a 120 FPS situation. So you don't want to rely on this. If you lock your game and it's supposed to be like 60, but sometimes it drops to 58, this helps a lot, but it's not designed to be in a variable situation of like, oh, suddenly we have twice the frames per second. It'll make everything look completely different. Yeah, so integers only. I use integers here because they're ticks on render frames, and render frames are whole. You don't have half a render frame, right? So you want to use an integer for that. So what I want to transition to using is using an intended hertz, and then kind of doing a calculation that checks how long it's been and only switch the tick on a render frame, if that makes any sense. So it can never skip a tick. It at least has to have one frame of where the tick is active, and then it will switch the next time. So say if you get a big lag spike, and this is what I want to do, not what this does now, but what I want to do. So you have a big lag spike and it's at 60 frames per second, and that lag spike lasts for 2 frames, but I'm ticking on and off every frame. I'm ticking on 60 hertz. I want every 60 hertz for it to tick, but I want it to be tied to the rendering. So it specifically say for flickering, I want it to tick every frame on off, right? But if it skips 2 frames, I want it to wait until that next frame happens to allow the tick to progress. So it's a minimum tick of 60 hertz. But if an update where render gets delayed, then it will hold that tick until the next render comes through, and then it'll oscillate it back and forth. That's what I'd like to do, because when you start to do hertz instead, you could say, hey, I want 120 FPS. And what'll happen is it will still tick on 60 hertz. It'll just be double the frames that it used to be before, relatively, you know, if nothing drops or nothing lags. Do you get kind of what I mean? That's what I want to transition to. I just haven't built it. And it seems like it should be simple enough, but I haven't bothered to do it yet. Got bigger fish to fry right now, right? But I think that would be good, especially thinking about like Pocket Fighter EX as a fighting game. If I ever made another fighting game and it was 120 FPS, well, yeah, I have to really think about that, because things like screen flashing and stuff should be consistent, whether it's 60 or 120 hertz. You know, they look completely different if they're like half the frame rate or double the frame rate. And then vanishing during recordings, yeah, right. But yeah, the reason that you wait for the render to tick is because, say your game starts running at 30 FPS and you're ticking on 60, well, then every time it renders at 30 FPS, the tick will be off or it'll be on consistent. It won't be oscillating correctly. Wouldn't even know how a fighting game would work on NES. There are almost no official ones on the platform. That's true. There's actually a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one that's supposedly not bad. It's like Turtle Tournament Fighter. I think they had like one on Genesis, one on Super Nintendo, and then they had like a port to the NES. And while it wasn't quite as robust as the others, as you can imagine, it was apparently very playable and not bad. But even recently, someone made, I think, like a Smash Brothers clone. Like, they actually constructed a physical cart for it. Now, get this. So this is wild. This is wild. They constructed a cart with a Wi-Fi emitter in it. And so it literally has rollback netcode. So it's like a little mini Smash clone on the NES with rollback netcode and a built-in Wi-Fi chip in the cart. And you can literally play with other people on your NES. Oh no, Wi-Fi. Well, yeah, I mean, rollback at least helps with that, so it shouldn't be too god-awful, but still, yeah. But the thing is, what are you gonna do, though? Like, the NES doesn't have an Ethernet port. So it's kind of like the only real option there. Unless you wanted to put an Ethernet port in the cart, and I don't know how well that would work. You know, I'm not sure if it's got the energy output or whatever necessary. I guess if it could do Wi-Fi, you should be able to. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not getting dragged into that. I don't know the specifics of the voltage and what's required, but that's pretty amazing, right? And then there's also a PC version. And the PC version, I think either it's coming out or it just came out, can cross-platform play with the NES copy. Can you imagine how wild that is? Like, in what world did you ever imagine that would be A, possible, and B, ever actually realized? It's wild. I forget what the name of it is, though. You'd have to look it up. I'm sure if you look up NES rollback netcode or something, it'll pop up. Or NES Wi-Fi game or something like that. Oh, it's wild. It's wild what these people are doing. But hey, it also shows the power of back in the day when we had cartridge games, you know, big cartridge games that were actual circuit boards with chips and shit on them. You could do a lot with just adding things to it like that. You could make custom chips. I mean, Konami did it all the time. Capcom did it. You know, even Nintendo developed chips. Like Mario 3, the levels can scroll up and down because of that. Like having that double axis scrolling, like that's a special chip. That's not built in. Or so I understand. So it's crazy stuff like that. Now you think Mario Brothers 1 is basically probably one of the most complex NES games without using a special chip. And Miyamoto even said, and I got confused by this at first because he was like, oh, with Super Mario Brothers, we maxed out the NES. Like that's as much as it can do. Like we made the ultimate NES game. We've really crammed everything into it. And I'm thinking, like, that's weird because like Mario 3 is like so much more robust and better and bigger and in every way. But he was saying that in the context of the NES without support chips. And that's why they moved on to the disk system, because the disk system was supposed to have more memory or disk space or whatever it was, so they could do more stuff, right? But then they went back and they made a special chip for the NES that could swap out, you know, graphic banks and all this other stuff. And now all of a sudden we get things like Mario. I don't know if Mario 2 uses anything special. It scrolls vertically, but it never scrolls vertically and horizontally at the same time. It's only one or the other, so I'm not sure about that. But Mario 3, absolutely, it's a banger. Like it's got scrolling in all directions. It's got, you know, different level graphics all the time. Like it's always and it swaps out the image banks and stuff to do that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, every single graphic for Mario Brothers 1 is loaded into RAM at all times. Every single graphic, it's just one graphic bank. And so like everything's in there. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong. You can correct me in the comments down below or in a tweet or whatever. Just yell at me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the entire graphic bank is loaded. Like everything's loaded. The title screen, the blocks, the piranha plants, Mario, the whole shebang, it's all loaded into RAM all at once. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kirby's Adventure is another great example. Like, it's so huge, and I think you can scroll in all directions in some parts of the stages. Yeah, without those add-on chips, it'd be impossible. And the Game Boy also had the ability to swap visual banks. Like, it had a really big limitation on that. There's a good video by Modern Vintage Gamer. Let me make sure I got that right. Let me look him up. And he explains how it works on the Game Boy. Where the hell's Edge? Here's Edge. There we go. No searching. No searching on screen. We learned our lesson about that. Okay, was it Modern Vintage Gamer? He's that he's the bald guy on YouTube that talks about games. Actually, no, not Rich from Review Tech. He's also bald. Let's see. Yeah, this is him. Let me see if I can find the actual video. Game Boy graphics 1 year ago, 3 months. Secret of the Nintendo Game Boy boot logo. How cartridges worked on Nintendo Game Boy. That's probably it. Okay, this one? It's probably this one. I'm not gonna bother clicking on it. Like, he's got a few, but I don't think it was this one? I don't know. It's one of these. But he explains how the graphic banks get switched out and stuff. Now, it's really clever. And that's what helped the Game Boy stand the test of time. They started making huge games comparatively. I mean, you know, it's still a Game Boy. But, you know, relatively, they started making huge games for the platform that were inconceivable at the beginning. But it's all because of that memory graphic bank switching, or I think it's just data bank switching in general to load like new level data, load new graphics data, all that kind of stuff. So, okay, that was a big tangent, but I think it was cool. These old systems are crazy when you think about them. What did I do? Frame rate's chopping out on me here. Is it because I got it both open? Yeah. See, now, here, take a look. It's kind of strange here. It slows down when I'm looking here, right? Well, that's weird, right? And it speeds up when I put it full screen. And the reason is, a render frame can happen in scene view. When you see this, it's a render, right? So, it's actually screwing up the tick count because it's doing 2 ticks at the same time because it's rendering 2 frames at the same time. And hey, what's up? Hey, it's that kid, the Wiz. Do I know you? I think I know who you are. I bet I do. Let me know if I'm right. Yeah, okay, I knew it. I'm looking at the name and I'm like, wait a minute. It can only be 1 person. Well, it could have been 2 people. But I expected only 1 of them. We're talking about stupid technical shit that you probably don't care about. That's alright. We're talking about flickering. How to make things look shimmery and stuff, and old hardware. Welcome to the Gaming Boomer stream. Yeah. I appreciate you showing up, though. But yeah, and I use also the on-render aspect of this to oh, it's Sonic music, by the way. You'll appreciate that at least. Sister loves Sonic. Who doesn't love Sonic? It's good. I use the render frame to also regulate the scrolling here. The scrolling actually doesn't occur until a frame is called the render. So if you go here, well, it might still work here. Oh no, see, when an actual render frame comes in, see how it doesn't actually move the background yet? Oh, it's getting all tweaked out. Alright, whatever, it doesn't matter. But see how it's not going? Because an actual render hasn't occurred. I have to render on camera 1, which is the scene here. But once I pop it out, boom, and now it tracks. So here are display 1. I look for render calls from display 1, and then only when that happens does the thing change. And part of that's an efficiency thing, so if the game happens to skip a render, I don't really need to adjust the layers. Who cares? That's fine. I don't care about that. He's getting all freaked out. I don't know why. Here, let me reset him. He's getting all tweaked. There we go. Oh no, it's only when I have this one set. Oh, that's weird. I don't know. That controller's broken though. It's fine. Who cares? Anyway, but yeah, the idea is that you don't need to do it until the camera that you're attached to, you're attaching the Parallax to, actually renders. Now you could attach it to multiple cameras, but only when that camera renders. And here's part of the reason why we do this. If you have 2 cameras, you want them to have different viewpoints, right? So when the render gets called, we're gonna pause that. It's just freaking me out. When the render gets called, on camera 1, you have to have these in a different position to get the correct view. And then when camera 2, and there's no camera 2 right here, so no camera is rendering on 2. But if we had a second camera, we need to move this into place so that the second camera has the proper view. And that's why I did it based on that. So it's whenever it renders, it calls out and it's like, hey, I'm about to render. You better get in position, alright? Probably on here. Yeah, the Parallax controller. Let's see, how did I do this now? Oh. On remove render pipeline, attach to render pipeline. It's probably what this is. Yes, begin camera rendering, and when it gets turned off, it removes it from the camera rendering. Yeah, on pre-call render pipeline. I call it version because in 2019, when they created the new render pipeline that you could customize some stuff in Unity, they changed the way that it works. So this here, I think this was actually an event that was automatically occurring if you were attached to a camera object. the camera would actually send this event out to the scripts that were attached on the same object. And then you wanted to do it before culling. You wanted to move everything in place, because culling removes things that won't be rendered. It looks through the camera and it says, all right, look, that mountain is behind me. We don't need to render that, so we're going to turn it off. That's what culling is. And you have to move it before that process starts. And thankfully, they actually gave you a thing to do that. And that was really cool. In the new system, I don't think I calibrated it quite so efficiently. Where is... You see, it says begin rendering. Are there other ones here? Render pipeline manager. Begin frame rendering, begin camera rendering. I'm assuming that begin frame rendering is before the cameras, so the frame encompasses all cameras, right? So that would be before any of the cameras start to render. And this is end camera rendering, end frame rendering. This one's kind of a pain. Oh, was there another? Oh, it's just these things. Because I think it actually sends in the camera. Scriptable will render context, whatever the hell that means. And then there's camera that actually sends the camera in. Now this is part of what I don't like about this new system, assuming that this is actually how it works. I think what it's saying is saying, hey, for every single camera that comes in, for every single camera that's going to render, we're going to send you what camera is going to render, and whatever the hell the scriptable render context is. Define state and drawing commands that custom render pipelines use. Cool. I guess that's like a settings file or something. That's fine. But this here is the thing. And I guess you could make a script for doing multiple different things with different cameras, and that's cool. But now I have to filter my camera out and say, is B our camera? And if it's not, I don't want anything to do with it. It's kind of annoying. I didn't have to do that with this because it was whatever it was attached to. But I guess technically this is more robust. I assume that this little comparison check doesn't really do too much. I just fear that, you know, if you've got 100 of these things in there and, you know, 100 of them are attached to camera 1 and none of them are attached to camera 2, well, you're making 200 calls to that method now. And it's got to check every time. You're like, no, that's mine, or no, that's not mine, and then act accordingly. Because it's not too huge of a deal, but it does kind of irk me that it does that now. I would like it if you could call this on the camera itself, right? If you could go to the camera that you want and be like, hey, attach to your before and after rendering. Now the other thing too is I don't think it has like a pre-call and after call thing unless this scriptable render context does something. I don't really know. It's called A, right? A, what do we got? Oh, what's inside you? Begin render pass, begin scope, begin, here's call. So can I like tell it to call? Draw renders, draw shadows. And I can tell it to do what I want? I don't know. I'm not really sure what this is. Alright, here's where we look it up. Here's where we stop being dumb and taking guesses, and we'll actually look it up. Here, we're gonna learn. We're gonna learn on stream today. Unity 2020. Always Google off stream. Hey, look at that. Alright. Let me get my Hooked on Phonics ready. I can read this correctly. Scriptable render context. Define state and drawing commands that custom render pipelines use. Whatever the hell that really means. When you define a custom render pipeline, you use a scriptable render context to schedule and submit state updates and draw commands. So you do command thing to draw to the GPU. Okay, that's cool. A render pipeline.render method. Render pipeline.render implementation typically calls objects that the render pipeline doesn't need to render. That's what we were just talking about calling. For every camera, see calling results. Check that. And then make a series of calls to draw renders, intermix with scriptable renderer context, execute command buffer calls, whatever that is. These calls set up global shader properties, change render targets. Oh, that might be something we gotta think about. Dispatch compute shaders and other rendering paths to actually execute the render loop. Call that. Okay, fine, whatever. I guess so. You can. I'm guessing what this is that you can take. Oh, where's my code? There it is. You can have your own thing come in and then like actually do stuff with the camera and the render process. That's not automatic, so you can probably turn off the automatic processing and then do your own special thing. So you can make one camera that, I don't know, makes like a friggin' depth map or something. Maybe you need a depth map for some dumb reason, or makes a cool looking freaky shader effect. Are you putting it on a monitor or using it as a texture or something? I think that's what all this is for. It just gives you tight control over the actual render process. And that's really cool, but I don't care about that, completely honest. I don't need to get that technical with a game like this. But it's nice to know, I suppose. I'd probably have to watch a couple tutorials to even start to get some of this. Performs culling, yeah. I wish that we had the ability to say, hey, I want to do this pre-cull or post-cull or whatever. And I guess the idea is you could create your own render method that has these events and calls out to things and whatever, but I'll be completely honest, I'm not going to do that. Not at this stage. It's not reasonable to even bother. Because here, I mean, we were doing it before calling anyway. Because this apparently must be before all this other stuff. It's whenever the camera's going to start, right? Because it says... where is it? It's always above. I keep thinking it's below. Here. Begin camera rendering. So this must be literally the beginning of it before anything happens. Hold on. Oh, big sneeze. So this must be before everything gets, rolling. And of course that means it's pre-call because it's before the calling happens. By default, because nothing has actually happened yet. That works out in this case, but in other cases that may be an issue if I need to do anything after calling, which who knows. I'm not sure exactly how I want to handle the palette system yet. I'm thinking of a couple different ways, but I'm kind of wondering if I should leave everything unpaletted in until the final render and then just apply the colors to the final screen instead of applying them per object, which would take a lot more processing power. Maybe in scene view you want to do that so you can see what things look like, but I'm wondering if they should just be specific, like coloring spectrum. I don't know. No, that wouldn't really work though either, would it? Because you could run, not with this game because there's not that many colors, but if you do enough colored objects with different palettes and stuff, you could eventually run out of information to send to the full screen. It'd be complicated. I'm not going to bother explaining how it would work, but at some point you wouldn't be able to transfer any more data to it, I think. it would be, I don't know, you'd have, okay, I just said I wasn't going to explain it, but I'll try to explain it very briefly. You'd have to graph palettes to certain colors. So you would have, well, yeah, actually, you might have quite a bit of leeway here. I don't know what the overhead would be, though, so, tablet went dark. So you would have, what you would do is you would say each channel, like the RGB, red, green, blue, and alpha, you've got 0 to 255. Well, you would only, I don't know, it depends on how this works. I don't know if cameras can render alpha, but if they can, you would have those values combined together. So you would say, okay, red of 0, between red of 0 to 12 is one set of like 12 colors, and we're gonna render the sprite with those values to the screen, and it's gonna look dark because it's like basically black. But every sprite that gets rendered gets its own, depending on what color palette it's using, gets its own part of that spectrum. So the next object has a different color, so we're going to go from red 13 to, I don't know, red 12 or 20. And you'd have to stack them. You'd have to stack the palette information in that kind of way, and then render it with those colors. And then at the final render, you go through and you replace all the colors with the ones that you want. Man, that'd be really complicated. I mean, it would work. Let's see, you'd have 256 times 256 times 256. Okay. Yeah, and that's right. It's about 16 million colors. I think you'd be okay if you did that. If you constructed the palette with each of an index, you'd have 16 million colors. That should be fine. I guess that would work. I don't know whether it would be more efficient to do it that way than to just do it with all the colors. I can imagine that it would be more efficient to do it this way, but the overhead might be a little steep. So I don't know. And if you can add alpha into it as another piece of data, then yeah, you've got 4 billion colors that you could. There aren't even that many pixels. All right, you couldn't fill up the screen with enough different colors. At least not at this resolution. All right, let's see how much. Let's see. 1080 times 1920. Okay, so there's only 2 million pixels. That's still a lot of pixels on a 1080p display. Well, what's 4K? It's supposed to be like double that, right? So times 2, so you get 4 million. So if they let you even use alpha in a render, and then you could read from that render and still replace the color, you'd be all right. Because the idea would be that you only do the final color replacement at the end. I guess it still would be, man, it would, every time it rendered though, it would still be doing it. You'd just be transferring to a middle palette before doing the full palette at the end. I don't know, I don't like it. I don't like it. Maybe you could just use culling to like not make them bother doing their render. I don't know. Like it wouldn't even attempt to do it because they wouldn't be rendering. Maybe that's how it already works. Oh, maybe AJ already thought of that. Whatever. Point being, you want to limit how many times you're gonna do this process. If you do it for every single tile, like it could get really expensive. But yeah, no, maybe it'd be okay. Maybe it'd be alright. Anyway, whatever. I guess that's kind of outside the wheelhouse. We didn't actually do anything we were going to but I did show the flickering and I did show the other stuff, so there was that. The other thing I was going to talk about was map navigation, and I was actually going to try to see if I could code some of that, but I might be a little late for that now. Obviously the platforming is broken, but it doesn't mean that we can't code other subsystems into the game. So there's a couple things to note here, and I'll have to, well, actually this doesn't quite exemplify the issue. We have some dimensional disparity between different maps in the system here. And this actually, if we cut this off, it will make a little more sense. So here's what I mean. When Ricky walks up to the mansion's going to be from the outside in some visible capacity, right? And sure, like, this, it's not going to be what it's going to end up being, but take this as a visual metaphor for what it is. We'll take this literally as seen, this map here, and let's even box it in to help illustrate the point. We've got this here, right? I'm gonna make, oh, 1 pixel. There we go. Where is just my eyedropper? I want to move it. I want to move this down. I don't want that arrow in there. That should be good enough. Okay. And then, oh, I need my blue back. My blue. Oh, that's not big enough. That's a little better. Obviously, it's not perfect here, but should illustrate the point well enough. Okay. Maybe it makes a little more sense now visually. Oh, this song. Oh, pump it. Give me that shit. Studiopolis, man. God bless Sonic Mania. That's all I'm gonna say. God bless Sonic Mania. Okay, so you can see the boundaries of these rooms. Obviously, this is still a room in the game, right? It's just an outside. It appears to be outside because it's drawn that way, and this appears to be inside because it's drawn that way. But there's still rooms in the game, right? The different maps, if you will. So when Ricky walks in and he's like, "Hey, look it's a mansion. Cool. I'm gonna go inside and figure out what's going on." Sonic Mania is a dream come true for people who loved the old Genesis games. Yes, absolutely. This is the best Sonic game I've played in quite many years. I have a lot of good opinions on, or good opinions of Sonic Mania. I wouldn't say on, that's a different kind of context. I would really like it. That's what I want to say. So, okay, Ricky goes into he's like, oh cool, big mansion. Alright, whatever. He walks in here, and all of a sudden, boom! What the hell is all this space here? You look outside, and it's like, the mansion's not that big. When you get inside, look at all the space inside. That's what I mean by dimensional discrepancy. The inside of the mansion looks bigger than the outside. And it's for a practical reason. You don't want to make the player have to walk from over here to get to the door over here to get into the mansion that's that big, like on the inside. You know what I mean? You want to have a little bit of curtness, if you want to put it that way, to your travel time. Now this dimensional disparity multiplies when you consider that each one of these doors here turns into an entire level that may be just as big as the hallway in some respects. It's definitely not going to be just this size. It's not a one screen level. You're gonna have like 6 screens on the other side. And then when you pop back out, you know, go into this one, well, all of a sudden, hey, wait a minute, you know, there's another 6 screens behind here, but they're not overlapping. They're not the same screens, or different screens. So you have this sort of space disparity, this dimensional warping, you know, so to speak, when you go from one level to the next. Or not level, but when you go from one layer of the map to the next. It's Ghost Magic Mansion, don't gotta make sense. Yeah, well, yeah, and that's the thing. You can sort of hand wave it, even just by the logic of it. Where it's like, it's a video game. Who cares? Like, it's the perception of where you are right now and how big something is. It's just how games work. You don't want to walk 5 minutes from the edge of the mansion to the front of the mansion so you can go in the door. No one wants to do that. That's stupid. Everybody would get bored. So we just make it look smaller on the outside. Bada bing, bada boom, you're all done, right? Like, it's just, don't waste your players' time, you know what I mean? So it's a necessary sort of thing. But you also see, like, each level gets bigger and bigger in detail, you know, as you go on. It just kind of, it is what it is. I don't know if that will feel strange. To be completely honest, don't know if that will feel strange. In a 3D game, you could get away with this much better, because Ricky wouldn't be bound by walking left or right. He could be like, oh, well, I guess I can't show, hold on. I'm gonna have to do this in order to get my point across, so hold on. Oh yeah, good, it stayed black. So in 2D, Ricky can only just kind of walk back and forth here, right? But in 3D, you could have it so Ricky starts here. There's a gate here, it's in front of the mansion, and you just walk in, right? And the mansion could be as big as you want. It could take up the whole goddamn thing. Who cares? You have that luxury in 3D. And then the inside could reflect this, and the inside could be like a circular hallway where this door goes this way, and this door goes this way, and this door goes that way, and that way, and that way, and it spreads out that way. Sure, whatever. You can make it work, it's fine. Or just have different rooms and floors and a more intricate hallway to connect everything. You think like Boo's Mansion in Mario 64, we just played that, you know, on Sundays. You could do things like that in 3D, but in 2D space, you just gotta kind of fub it. Just fudge it, because, I mean, it's not gonna make sense anyway, right? But yeah, I mean, if you want a real explanation, like you said, oh, it's a spooky magic ghost house, whatever. It just is the way it is. You know, the door monsters are gonna be the same way in some respects. So, and that's the other thing. Gotta go back. There we go. All the way back to the start. When you go into a level, the door is gonna disappear, right? Because it's a monster door, and you can't exit once you come in. You can't just go walk right back out. The door's a monster, and it eats the door or whatever, and then it flies away. And then when you track down the monster and beat it, then you can leave. And then you go right back to the door you came in, because it ate that door, so you're going out that way. So Ricky's here, he's like, hey, I'm gonna go in this level. And he gets in there, and then all of a sudden the door monster comes and nom nom nom, the door is gone. And then say door monsters, I don't know, he's over here, he's a big, he's a big bad guy, he's real mean, but he's smiling because he ate your door. And then Ricky comes over and he's like, I'm gonna beat you. Alright, cool. There's two possibilities here. One, which I think might actually be more interesting, is if the door doesn't actually appear there, but it actually appears where you defeat them, and then this door would actually still be closed. And then you could take Ricky into this door, and then you would end up back out here. I think that would be actually really visually cool. And that also means that you don't have to walk back to, once you beat the door monster, you don't have to walk back. It's kind of like he coughed up the door here, and it's there now, you know what I mean? You could think of it like, you know, even like Mario 2, where you have the potion doors, you can kind of put them anywhere. You can think of it like that. Wherever the monster dies, that's where the door is. And then, I guess, I don't know if they'll land on the ground or whatever. Or maybe the door will just appear in the boss area. Maybe he doesn't leave the boss area. So it will just appear in a designated spot wherever the boss is, in that corner of the room. And that would be fine. You know, something like that. I think that would actually be cool. And then you can just exit normally. Again, goes back to don't waste your player's time. If they can find a monster and beat it, then obviously what they're trying to do is to leave the level, right? So don't make them walk all the way back to the door. Just make the door appear there. And then when you come back in the room, you know, if you exit through that door and you come back out and you're down, oh, where's Ricky? Ricky comes out and he goes back in, or you're gonna end up in the starting position again. And the boss will be back over here. Oh, I didn't put my spot on. Feel it easier to see. I mean, this is a good cursor. You can kind of see that, but this makes it easier to see. And then the boss is back over here, and then you beat him, and then you exit up in the corner again, and then you come back out. So it's sort of a looping thing. I think that would make a lot of sense to do it that way, right? So that's what I'm gonna go with. Oh, I can turn that back up. Hopefully it's not too hard to hear me over the raised music, but Chemical Plant Zone is good though too, so I just like the OG version of this song. When I was building the playlist, I like tried a couple of the like the remixes and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. It's just something about the original. Where is this? Right? Oh, this is, you know what? I think this is the Sonic Generations one, which is basically the same as the original, but it might be a little pumped up in some areas. Yeah, I think that's Sonic Generations. Let's see, view info. Yeah, that was the Generations version. But it was interesting because the Generations classic Sonic music actually progressively got less and less Genesis-y over the course of the game. I thought that was really neat. But Chemical Plant Zone was like one of the first areas, so it sounded pretty much just like the Genesis one. Really cool. Anyway, I like this song too, so whatever. Sonic CD, I think. Untitled Chapter. What is it? Yeah, Sonic CD. I don't know if it's the American or Japanese soundtrack or whatever. I've never played it, completely honest. I don't have anything against it, I just never played it. So it is what it is. Anyway, yeah, so then you have the secret passages too, and that's another sort of example of this. The passages between two levels could be smaller or bigger than what it really is on the other layer, but this one actually has less of an excuse to do that, because you probably want these to line up almost kind of one-to-one. It depends. So here's the thing. This is all well and good and all, but how do you make a map system that the user can use in order to make all this make sense? I don't have an answer for that one yet. You absolutely need a map system for something like this, I think. I think it makes a lot of sense to have a map system for a game that's basically a maze, because it's kind of like a Metroidvania. Would you want to play a Metroidvania without a map? No, that would suck, right? Hey! Chlamydia 64. I'm gonna give you a nickname, man. I can't be saying that word all the time. What's up, though? Welcome. Yeah, Clam. Oh my god. I'm not sure if that's in context. That might be worse. That's fine. Clam 64. There you go. That's perfect. But that does, see, now this presents an interesting challenge, though. How do you present this as a map to the player? Because you have to think of this in a layered context. Like, this absolutely is a three-dimensional map in a way. And what I mean by that is, I don't know if this will work right. Nope. Definitely not that way. Nope, that don't work. Hold on. Gonna have to copy this to a new. Create a new palette with this. There we go. Okay. And we're gonna get rid of these red arrows, right? They're just gonna, well, you don't know. You don't know what I'm doing. What am I asking you for? Alright, we're gonna put these on different layers. So, this is gonna be a new layer, outside, outside, boom. And then new layer. Oh, Shift N. I was gonna say there's gotta be a way to make this work. Okay, this is the hallway. And then yeah, Shift N. Yeah, there we go. That's how we do it. And this is level. And Shift N, yeah. Enter? No. I want to bring this menu up. I don't know how to do it with the keyboard command. Let's see. All right. Secret passages. All right, these are layers. All right, layers of the map. So you see them visualized like this, and you're like, oh, okay, it makes sense. You go in this door, you end up here. Go in this door, you end up here, etc., etc. Oh, actually, I was using the wrong door for this example. I was using the secret passage door when I was talking about that. Pretend it was this door. That's probably gonna be confusing when everybody's watching. Huh? What are you talking about? But really, I mean, physically, what happens is that it's really this, right? It's really this. You go through the outside and you get into the hallway. You go through the hallway and you get into the level. And you go from the level to the secret passage. And then you pop back to this layer when you come back to the level, back to the hallway, and back to the outside. Right? But again, this presents a weird thing where it's like, if the levels are bigger than the hallway combined, then how do you represent this as a map, right? Because say the level is as big as all this put together. Or even bigger. Here, you know what? Let's make an actual accurate example here. I'm saying new level. We'll keep that there. Let's use this color combination though. We'll use the green and orange. It's the wrong color. Actually, no. Let's do it like this. I'm gonna say it's like 6 screens, 3 top, 3 bottom, right? That's a pretty good level size. Boom, there you go. Let's turn off the old level. Let's give it a door here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put the door over here. You'll see why. That's not what I want. I want my square. Give me my square. Okay. And we're gonna make this bigger because it's gonna have to be. And to make it even more, to the point, we're gonna do this too. Right? Nope. That's not what I want. Ah! It's not what I want. M. Oh, I have to deselect. M for marquee. I guess that's what it's, right? Is that what it's called? Oh. Yeah, marquee. Whatever that means. Anyway. Okay, cool. You got two layers right here. You got two floors. And that's down here. And then you got the level, and we're gonna get rid of this. It's basically this. So this is level 1, goes here. Right. Ugh. Oh, now we've got level 2. We'll make it a different color, right? It's red and blue, sure. Well, now that's interesting. Now we got a secret passage between them. Isn't that cool? Alright. So we'll put this here. I'm going to use that as a guide to just chop out some sections. Oop. And boop. Now I can move secret passage back under level. There we go. Okay, you're starting to see where this comes apart on you? If every single door here leads to a level that is this big, how does this actually work? Well, this level, was it going to overlap this one? Because you got this level here, this level 1, level 2, I guess. And here's like 3 and 4, right? So where the hell are 3 and 4? They don't go to level 1 and 2. They don't go here. There's only one door. Oh yeah, the door orientation also doesn't make sense. I think I know what you're trying to say there. But because it's a monster door, that's part of why I wanted it to be a monster door. Yeah, that's the thing. So when you go through visually, like you see here, did I saw Ricky? Or no, Ricky's not here. Okay, let's get Ricky. Ricky, come back. There's Ricky. Okay. Oh. Yeah. So when Ricky's here, like he faces in the door and he goes in the door, right? But that actually takes you back out to the hallway, right? So it's kind of weird where you're going into the door here, but you're actually popping out the door here. If it was 3D space, it doesn't really make sense, but that's fine. It's a magic monster door. I don't give a shit. I think it makes more sense to leave the door orientations like that, and you excuse me, and you just go through them, because it, like, this map makes sense here, right? This map makes sense. You've got the level and you've got the layer underneath, so you went to that door and you go over here and now you pop back into here, and cool, and then I'm doing my thing, and then I go from here and then I'm back out in the hallway, right? Levels would have to be different depths. Well, that's the thing. I don't want to stretch the hallway, right? Because if you had to walk all the way from here to here to get to level 2, it violates the don't waste my time principle. So I need to find a way to visually represent the dimensional disparity here. Like you said, you could use depth, and it'd be better to pull off a 3D game. Could also create a shadow world effect as in Mario 2. I'm not sure what that would accomplish. I mean, the secret passages are kind of like That's kind of what it's supposed to be. I think the secret passage layout and the secret passage and the actual level layout should overlap 1-to-1, I think. I think that makes sense because it's like a sub-layer, like in the walls. And going from one to the other, you want to pop in and out between them. But I think the big disparity is the hallway to the level here, and I think it should be possible to do it, but we have to do it in a smart way. So what would the map screen look like for that? You know. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's only a matter of how you present it. I think this makes sense. You can tell this door is level 1, this door is level 2, whatever. That's fine. The player can make that association. And even though the room is bigger on the inside, they know what door goes to what eventually. It's just visualizing that in an in-game map screen is going to be the issue. You could do something like, you could do markers, right? You could do markers. Let me draw a new example here. I'm gonna kind of Metroid this. Yeah, I'll just draw it on my layer. It's fine. Where's my grid though? Can I do? Where's my grid? You show grid settings. 4? No, let's do 8. 8 by 8. Oh, perfect. Okay, exactly what I want. Yeah. Okay, and then I can. Oh, wrong one. I can erase like this. Okay, so like this is a room, right? You could put a marker. Say this is the hallway, right? Oh, we'll make it double. It's 2 floors, and it connects. So we're gonna like visualize this like we would Metroid or Castlevania. Just for now, I don't know if it's how it's gonna look in game, but just to give an example here, let me tear down these. So the middle room here is where the opening is. That's the connection, right? Let's see. Tim says, if you insist on this weird door layout, use a top-down map at different depths and have foreground doors linking to background doors. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. I'm not sure what aspect you're actually talking about too. The fact that the doors don't physically line up because they're always appearing on the far wall, or the size disparity between the maps. Anyway, hear me out. We're thinking out loud right now, alright? Stay with me. Both. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but that's fine. Now pay attention. Fucking listen. So sure, then you've got the different levels here, right? Alright, well, yeah, I'll just do it this way. Yeah, I guess I could just copy it, right? And then we're going to copy it again. Now it may not actually line up this way nice and pretty, but for the sake of the example, I think it makes sense because you're kind of giving a relative distance here. Actually, no. Let's say that they're actually removed by this much. Right? This makes sense. This makes sense. I should move these different layers. Hold on. Map and background. I have a feeling I'm going to be saving this. Okay, let me black and white. That's fine. I'm going to do this. Boom. And then. Oh, did I put it in the same? I put it in the same layer. Stupid. Cut. Paste. Back to background. Now we're gonna. Okay. Alright, we're good. We're good. We only draw on map. Okay. That way I can move things around without it getting all freaked out. So we need a new color. I'm gonna use red. And I'm gonna say, oh. Yeah, you could have the door outline. Yeah, I know what you mean with Monster Hunter World 4. Or, Monster Hunter World. Monster World 4. I don't think it's necessary. Although it does conflict with the fact that, like, you do enter the mansion. You do enter the mansion and have. That's why I've got it here, right? When you do enter the mansion in this example, it's gonna have to be like a cutout, and you'll just have to know that's where the door is. But I know what you're saying, that these aren't necessarily cutouts on the other end, but whatever. I don't think it makes a big difference. I think people won't really think too much about it. It's fine. And you could argue that in Mario 2, when you go into a cave or whatever, everything is reversed. But it's not really that way. So, let me get an example here. That's not... Here we are. Right, let me get a tab. Pop her out. VG Atlas. Video game Atlas. And this should be safe enough. Should be safe. We want NES, right? Super Mario Brothers 2. USA. Okay, World 1112 is the primary example here. So you see here, when you walk into this door, you end up here. But this should be reversed. Because you entered this wall, and now that's the wall on the other side. The background here is actually the green outside here. But it doesn't matter because it lines up linearly. A goes to here, B goes to here. It's the same concept. It's actually the inside of this dome is way bigger than it is on the outside. It's the same exact concept. Who cares where the door is? It's fine. When you look at this, you're looking outside, and it's casting the light to the side. But it's actually cut out of the background. It's not in front of you, right? Yeah, well, yeah, that's the other thing too. 1.1 does actually do it that way. Because, so here, normally you go up this way, right? But if you go in the cave, well, it does it kind of differently. Look, it's weird. Okay, so here, see, A is here, and B is here, and that maps to here. It's the same orientation. A is here, and B is here. But then if you go left to C, then that all goes out here. I don't know. I guess that's a magic door, right? It's a magic door. It's red. Whatever. It's a magic door. It's fine. Yeah, see? this door, you go in this door, and you pop out this, you're in a different friggin' world. I don't know. Look, it doesn't have to make sense. Mario 2's in a dream! It's Dreamland! Shut up! Everybody shut up! It's all just a dream! But you get the idea. I think, even though it doesn't make physical sense, having them linearly line up like this makes more human sense. You'll get more confused if everything reverses when you go on the other side of that door than you would. Don't map it, leave it deliberately unclear. Alright, yeah, but, alright, so, yeah, I'm getting to that. Jeez, you're making me jump around everywhere. You're making me pull my hair out. Alright, listen. Shut up and listen. So here we've got, let me finish drawing this example here. Like these, I'm just gonna make the point that these don't always have to be like the same thing, right? I think we can make this work. Right, Mario, well, I think it still helps to keep them linearly, even if they don't have a map. It's still good to keep them linearly focused and orientated. Okay, so here's the deal. This is how messed up it is, and I'm gonna just call this a scratch layer because I'm gonna be drawing crap on it. Let's choose cyan. Right? Yeah. So here's the thing. Oh no, that was not right. You should be able to make a map system that can tell you this information. Actually, that's wrong. This. Should be able to make a map system that can tell you this information. To be able to draw between the two areas in ways that are a little bit different, right? You should be able to make a map system that can do this concept, but in a different visual manner. I think rendering it top down would be way too confusing. You want the map to be a representative of what you see on the screen. If you have it top down, it would be like ridiculously confusing. You would have no idea where the hell you are. Yeah, that's the thing. Mega Man ZX was a horrendous nightmare to navigate because it was considering the depth dimension, and so it's the Friday the 13th problem. If you've watched the AVGN episode about Friday the 13th, right? Isn't that what it was? Isn't that right? Let me check. Where's my thing? Alright, back to YouTube. I think that's the game. Let's see. NES, Friday the 13th. Yeah. Here. Look at this friggin' mess of a game. The primary, because this game did what you're talking about, and the primary complaint about this game is exactly that. Is that it's friggin' impossible to navigate. Let me see if they show the map screen. So see, look. You've got like north and south exits and stuff here. Let's see. Does he ever look at the map screen? He might for a split second. I don't know if it's gonna show it. Oh yeah, these parts, by the way, these are the houses. They're different. Get the hell out of here. Yes, I do want to win a PS5, but I know I'm not gonna actually win it. Damn, where's the maps? There it is. There it is. Look at this map screen. You have no idea what orientation you are in, and what you're facing, and where the exits are. This map is ridiculous. You can't do this. No one will be able to follow this. It just doesn't have a connection between what you see on screen when you're walking around and what you see on the map. There's no connection. You can't do that. It's just completely confusing. There's a primary complaint about this game is this issue. It doesn't make sense to do it that way. Especially like when you get in the cave and you don't even have a map, and then it's even more confusing. Why does a haunted house need a map? Because it's too big to not have a map. Even Resident Evil's relatively small mansion has a map. You have to give a map to players. It's ridiculous. You can't not do that. But again, there's a difference between easier to follow and easy to follow. Easier is relative. Oh yeah, sure. It's easier than going blind and figuring it out on your own, but like, it doesn't mean that it's good. It doesn't mean that it's easy. No, I haven't played Dark Souls. This is literally a maze game. You can't just ignore this. It's not gonna go away on its own. Okay, it's got no map. That's great. But, and I understand that it's got some interconnectivity. You can design a game to have interconnectivity that's memorable, but at some point you get so complex you can't do that. A lot of that comes down to also like visual landmarks. Can we get something unique in every room? Can we make everything look unique so that we can visually remember it? And you're not going to necessarily get that in an NES style game. You know, there's a lot of factors that go into that, and I don't think that we have those factors in this game to be able to pull that off. So I wouldn't consider for a second not having the map. All right, but anyway, now let's... There's a couple ways we could do this. One is just using signifiers. So now this is going to be weird because it's like very low res. I probably should have did this at high res. But what if we like gave them a number? Like that's 1 and 1. Like some kind of signifier. You don't want to use color because not everybody can see color. But what if, damn it, I was gonna say, let me chop this down. This is a rough thing. Say, oh, we've got one here and 1 here. Okay, now we can make that association. They're relatively in the same spot. 1 here goes to 1 here. And then 2 here goes to 2 here. They're in relatively the same locations. So you can sort of get a sense of scale on that. So maybe toggling between the 2 different maps. If you're like, oh, I'm looking at 1 here, and you press the button, and then you see this screen. And we can simulate that, actually. Like the map going in and out. I guess that doesn't, I would have to do this. Ah, crap, hold on. This is not gonna work. Okay, this one's gonna be cover bottom. This one's gonna be cover top, right? Yeah, cover top, and then cover bottom is going to cover this one. There. Okay, now we can do this. So we're looking at this normally, right? And we see the 1 and the 2. And then you press the button and you get this. And then you can look for the 1 and the 2. And they're relatively in the same spot, right? Actually, you know what's would be a really good example here? Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna do this on a new image because I think it'll make more sense this way. Okay, hallway. And this is the whole map, right? But we just want hallway first. Orientation doesn't matter. And then this one on level. What I'm gonna do on the level layer though is completely cover. Completely cover it here. So if we do this, right? Then we can see the 1 and the 2 here, and when we flip between them, we can see the relation here, and they're somewhat proportional in how that works. So if you look, you're like, oh, here's 1. I want to figure out where 1 goes, and you look at the map, and then this is, of course, the expanded view, the detail view, right? And then, so now you have, in roughly the same proportional area, you have 1. And you can potentially identify that. Now, you can use different shapes. You could use different colors, but remember, everybody's not everybody's can see colors, so it helps. But you got to make sure it's still not confusing otherwise. But you see, when you toggle back and forth, you can keep track of that. 1 and 1, okay, and they're in roughly the same area. In fact, I would probably move this down a little bit so it's a little more like on top of it, right? So it expands out. See, from hallway 1 1 1 1 2 1 2 2 2 and 1 1. Like, have it expand out. It's almost like you're zooming in, right, when you get to the room layer. I think that might work. I think that might work, right? Especially, you know what would be really cool is if you could highlight on the map, you put your cursor on that door, click on that, and it sends you to the next map, and it's flashing and highlighting over here. How about that? If you click the door, like it's a grid, you can move the cursor on the grid, you click the door, and it sends you to where the other door is on the other end. How about that? That's a good idea, right? Alright, let's look at your stupid one. You're killing me, Tim! You're killing me! Thanks, Tim. You gave me a 404 a link. Thing. Yeah, it's 404. Good job. Is it supposed to be dark.txt or something, or ping, or... Oh, I see. Yeah, no, it's not copied. Right, okay. Yeah. Where the hell is it? Don't send broken links. Oh, where's chat? Shut up, Tim. Okay, here's Dark Souls map. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how big the sense of scale here is. If this is mostly linear, it might not be too much of a problem, but it does look a little complicated. And this has no map in-game? Did they provide you a map in the manual or something? Not linear? I mean, like certain paths, if certain paths are linear, like here. If you started here, you know there's only one way out, right? And it goes to here. There might be side paths and whatever, but you know there's only one way out. Like from here to here, you go from here to here to here. You could maybe interchange these two areas. Then you go here, and like it's pretty straightforward, right? I mean, obviously I can't see the map in the game. Okay, you start at Firelink, wherever the hell that is. Firelink? Firelink, right? Oh yeah. The shape, yeah. I watched like the first few minutes of it. This looks familiar. And it's like an elevator or something, or whatever. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to play it to tell you. I'm sure they're using all the tricks in the book to help you remember. They're using landmarks, unique, specific landmarks, different visual cues, you know, using the environment and lighting and texturing to highlight specific areas, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure they're doing all of that if it's this big and there's no in-game map. The 3D helps, yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. You can get kind of an idea, especially if they're built like sound structures, you can get an idea by looking at it from different angles, like how to navigate a structure. But again, we don't have those advantages here. But absolutely, like, what if you got to select on the map and you click the door? I think this would be great, and then it highlights the door on the other end. So even if you can't read it properly, you could say, oh yeah, well I know what door I went in. And you can look at that. Hey, you know what's another great idea? I don't know, I'm sure some other game's done this. This would be amazing, actually. Amazing! How about... We gotta get the grid back here. This would be amazing! Alright, I figured they wouldn't be lined up. Okay. And then this one. Yeah, perfect. Well, not perfect, but... There we go. That's perfect. What if it tells you what door that you came in, or does it like in a relative history? So hear me out here. Hear me out. What if we're gonna have to disregard the palette here. Isn't there a way you can make like a gradient here somehow? I don't know. Alright, whatever. I'm just gonna wing it. What if... Time's up. I don't care. We're still doing this. Get ready. What if... It doesn't even work. Yeah, what if it doesn't work? Who knows? What if it doesn't work? Damn it! It's the wrong color. I don't want... My... No, I'm an RGB. Why is this? This is purple. Here, give me pink. Are we good? I don't want that though. I want purple. There we go. Okay, purple. What if the last spots that you've been to have a different color depending on how long you've been there? So here, let me see. We went into door number 1. Ah, this is infuriating. I'm in the wrong layer. We went into door number 1, and we've made our way to the top left of this room, right? What if? What if every time that you move to a different square, maybe this could be upgraded too, who knows? I don't know. This sounds really cool though. Every time you go to a new square, you see kind of a pattern. The darker the square is, the longer it's been since you've been in that area. This helps you keep track of where you've just recently been. See? Wait, why is that one on there? Did I fuck up? F. layer is it on? Is it on both layers? It's on both layers. All right, hold on. Let me take it off here. Bonk. Okay. And we'll actually get rid of the grid here. All right, check this out. Check this out. Bear with me. The darker the color is, the longer the time you've spent away from it. So we are currently, our current position in this example would be this one here. And if you look at the map, you can say, hey, I was at door 1. Look, I came in from door 1, obviously because I didn't come from anywhere else in this map. Right? And I could go look back at the hallway and say, hey, look, I was right here. This is where I came in. I went here, I went to this door because that's the lightest square. And then I ended up here. Some kind of map system like that would be pretty interesting, I'd think. It tells you like the last, I don't know, like whatever you've been in. Obviously we have to worry about color concerns and color depth and all that, but I think we could find a way to visually represent it. You could do it like a chain of marker sprites that flicker. And then the quicker they flicker, the solid one is you, and then they start to flicker and get less and less flickery, or more flickery, I guess, the farther away they are. Tim says, I think it's important to have a sense of lost. Kind of? But it's also a video game. You don't want it to be frustrating, and then people get mad and they won't play your game. There's a reason people look up maps for old games, because they're infuriating. But then you can kind of see where you've been, right? Almost like a trail, like a breadcrumb trail. And that'll help you associate the doors. Number one, number one. As I say, first off, you do want to have some sort of symbol to help tie them together, right? But still, either by clicking on them, it'll show you the other side of it. I still have to play Hollow Knight, right? Man, some games have had to have done something like this before, but I can't think of any examples. Especially the where you've been markers. That has to have been a thing. With how quickly we came up with this solution on stream, that has to have been a thing by now. There's no way there's no games that do that. Whatever, man. It's fine. I don't know, I think this works. I think this might work. You could switch between the two if you want. You know, like manually pressing a button to switch between the two maps. Like, what? But if you use the cursor and highlight a door and press A, you should go to the other map with that door highlighted. I think that would alleviate a whole ton of confusion. Leave it unmapped until you reach a checkpoint. It's possible that the map is an item that you get. You could absolutely, like I said, you can design things to not need a map. You could absolutely have it that way at first, but once it starts to open up, you're absolutely going to have a map, though. This would be way too confusing. I don't think we'll have A, enough visual variety, and B, we don't have enough viewpoints for the player to really understand the relation without a map. And get a little too confusing. There's just too much disparity. Like again, you said in 3D, it helps you keep track of where you are in Dark Souls because there's no dimensional disparity. One room isn't bigger than it looked from the outside because it's 3D. You can just construct the damn building and it's perfect. I mean, you know, as long as you do it right. You could absolutely have a disparity if you want to do it, but there's no reason to do that. You can make a solid structure, and if everything is consistent, it helps your brain memorize it. So that's one of the big things. But also having very specific landmarks. And by landmark, I don't mean like in the traditional sense. A landmark is anything that is a unique visual identifier to help you orientate you in the world, or to signify where you are. It's like, oh, there's this one cool looking skeleton dude with this shield, and it's got a specific design, and I know that in that room, I know where that room is because I remember that skeleton, the giant skeleton statue, something, whatever. The statue of Medusa, it could be anything. It could be a statue, it could be a painting on the wall. Just something that needs to be very noticeable, very highlighted by the designers in a way that like is distinct. Or you could say, oh, that one particular hallway is red and all the other ones are like stone, but this one happens to be red. It's red stone versus normal gray stone. Like, that's a visual landmark. There's only so much you can do in 2D with NES graphics to do that kind of thing. I played a little bit of La Mulana, but I can't remember everything. Wasn't that partly roguelike or no? I can't remember now. But all those things help. Like, and there's some things that you can do. You can theme areas. So that's one big thing. Like, if all the areas in the mansion look a little different, like say, oh, this bunch of rooms up on the top floor have a spider theme. So there's a lot of little spiders in the background. You know, not necessarily that they're attacking you, but that you can see them visually. And there's cobwebs and stuff. And you're like, oh, I'm in the spider area. Fair enough. Like, that's part of the concept of landmarking. Think like Castlevania, it's like, oh, the caves look like the caves, and all the different areas have sort of a consistent theme going on. And certainly, you know, there may be one or two rooms that look a little different. You know, you have to give a little bit of variety, but you know that you're in the entrance hall, or you're in the caves, you know, you're in the alchemy lab, because the music also helps, so you gotta remember, not everybody can hear, so that's not the only thing. But you get what I mean? There's a lot of these landmark things. The music can absolutely be considered a landmark. It's the same concept. It's giving you an orientation for where you are in the world, but it's by audio. This area has this particular music track. This other area has a different one. And you know that when the music changes, you're now in a new area visually and audibly. Like, you can tell that. Like, that's all part of the game. To use a pun, I guess. Get it? The game, the video game, whatever. You get what I'm saying. Man, we've gone through a lot of stuff. But I think it's important. More importantly, I think we found a solution to the bat problem. Which is really cool. I can't believe I've never thought of this before. Click on the door, and it just takes you to the other view of the map where it shows the door. And have everything orientated proportionally. As best as you can, you know what I mean. But this door might actually have been, like, on the top one, too. The other thing, yeah. The other thing that I could have tried to note a little better. Now let's view the grid again. Show grid. It could also... Oh, shit. Come on. Ah! It's killing me. Alright. Like, this could have actually just been here. You know? Like, some of these could have been on the top instead of the bottom. I'll patch the holes in a second. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have to necessarily be there. So, let's see. We want to fill this there. Oh yeah, and we have to... We moved that by accident. There, okay. So let's draw another indicator here. This one's gonna be 3, right? I guess it's gonna have to be bigger than the other number. That's 3. And then 3 Let's see where it was at. It's on the top, right? That's here. It's not even on like a floor, like it's the top of the room, and then you have to come down. So it doesn't have to be exact, even though these may actually be completely level in the hallway. They're magic doors. They're fucking monster doors, right? It doesn't matter. But it matters that they're proportionally in the same spot, though. 1 and 3 have to go here. 3 can't be over here. If 3 is over here, you wouldn't know what the hell's going on. Because you went from the left side of the map to the right side of the map. That would be ridiculous. So it has to be in some proportional thing here. And I think as long as you can click on the door and it sends you click on 3 on the map, it shows this and highlights it for you. I would say that La Moana is daunting, in part because of mapless, and also in part because there's no return paths. Those can be scary. That's where a map really helps. Like Super Metroid's got a bunch of those where you can't go backwards, at least right away. You get kind of stuck in an area until you get out, and it's really effective. It's really spooky, but you do need the map to kind of know where the heck you are. But I think this would work. As long as everything's in a proportional area, you can kind of get an idea. Oh, door number 1 is next to door number 3. Okay. Well, we know where door number 3 is. Oh yeah, 1's right here. It's right next to it because it's proportionally in the same area. You know, you can do that. That should be fine. That should be easy enough to navigate. And then just, you know, if you're completely confused, you click on the door in question and boom, it sends you here. Oh, cool. Now I know where that door is. And maybe you can place markers and stuff on the map to help things. You know, stuff like that to help keep you orientated. I think that would work. I think that solved the problem. I was very happy that we came up with something. I was more worried about this than any other part of the game. I was more worried about the map, but I think we've got an idea. A couple ideas. Right? We're breaking ground. Breaking new ground in the world of video game maps. Probably not. I'm sure someone's already done this before. That's fine. Yeah, so I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I think that works. Sweet. I think my graphics card is freaking out. That's probably why things have been very slow lately. Wonderful. Starting to see... I don't see it on this monitor. Maybe that's just this monitor. I don't know. I'm starting to see red lines flickering. That's always great. This computer is like half dead as is. I'm not turning it off for anything in the world right now because I don't think it will turn back on. It's that messed up. I've got to figure out a way to fix this thing quick because it's not in good shape, and I don't have a lot of resources right now to just be like, oh, we're gonna throw this out and buy a new one. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Trying to think of examples. Yeah, it's hard. I think we got a good idea. I think we got a good one. Yeah, Dragon's Trap is 1-for-1, right? You go into a door and the layer peels away and then you see yourself in the house or whatever. Yeah. So it actually warps you all over the place? No? Okay, that must be 4 then. That's Monster World 4. So it's the one that does that? I don't know. Dragon's Trap. Yeah, Monster World 4. Okay. Yeah, actually, let's show that since we talked about it a little bit. Where is... where's my tabs here? Here, this one will work. Back to YouTube! God bless YouTube and also damn YouTube at the same time. Blessing and a curse. Let's see. Monster World 4. I like Hydrocity. Good. Skip the ad. Skip it. All right, here we are. Sega. Oh, this is Gaming Historian. Wait, what? Oh, I clicked on something else. I mean, Gaming Historian's cool and all. It's just not what I'm looking for right now. What the hell did I do? Skip the ad. Let's go. There we are. Okay. We're good. We're good. Oh, I think I double clicked to expand it and I accidentally hit that. Whatever, doesn't matter. Shut up. Everybody shut up. Doesn't matter. Alright. So, yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, when we get to town here. Get out of here. Alright, watch when he walks in a door. This is what Tim was talking about, chat. Watch when he walks in the door. Boom. And then it completely lines up and then you have the door outline here. Part of my reluctance to do this is because the NES style is a little bit unprepared for something like this. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I call the girl a he? Watch when he goes through the door. Yeah, sorry. She. I mean, unless they want to be called he. I mean, I don't care. I'm just assuming in an old game it's not going to be that aware. Whatever, man. It's up to you. But yeah, you get the idea, right? You could absolutely orientate it that way. I just think that if you do that, the hallway would get so large that it would be a chore to go from one to the other. Because there won't be really anything in the hallway. It's supposed to be a level select. DT, what's DT? You mean DS? Dark Souls? Look, I don't got time to watch a whole playthrough of Dark Souls. Oh, Dragon's Trap. Okay. Dragon's Trap. Oh, it's one Monster Boy? What? Wonder Boy. Okay, whatever. Dragon's Trap. Yeah. I don't know if it was Wonder Boy or Monster World or whatever. Hey, it's not even in English. Alright, who cares? Oh, yeah, here. Okay. Do I have to go back? No! No! I'm not advertising for you. No free clout. Okay, I think we gotta go back. Okay. Yeah. Okay, he's outside. He's outside. So he goes in. Okay, it's like a normal room. I don't know where the town is. Look, I haven't played this game. I have no idea where he is. I have no idea where. I saw a room and I walked onto it, alright? Oh, that was weird. It just goes to the other side. Oh, I see what you mean. It's confusing. It's freaking weird. Alright, where's the town? Oh, there's the town. There's the town. Okay, blink. I went too far. Okay. Hey. It's Mushroom Hill. I love Mushroom Hill. Alright, goes on the door. No. Goes on the door, maybe? Here we go. Sometimes it matches, sometimes not at all. Yeah, this one seemed to sort of match. Whoa! Okay. Yeah, there's the warping part. Never finished this game because I took a break and forgot where I left off from. Yeah, well, that happens. That happens. Oh, jeez. And there's no map? Please tell me there's a map. There's no map, is there? You just gotta know where to go. That dude takes 1,000,000 hits! What the heck was that about? That was cool. So you got like a bow and arrow? I don't know. I'll play it one day maybe. It's not that bad. There's probably not He's out of progression. Oh, okay. Gotcha. He's just getting somewhere he shouldn't. I was gonna say, with everything so linear and flat, maybe the level complexity isn't big enough where it's as big an issue. It's probably still an issue, or someone could get lost. But if you're, you're playing it in not one run necessarily, but you're playing it start to finish, and you're not taking like a month in between. It looks like, oh, okay, I go up here to go to Desert World, I go down there to do whatever. It feels like that would be a reasonable, oh, that's a cool wavy effect. Wonder how they did it. Actually, you know what? I bet I know how they did it. They could do it with rendering the water. So assuming, and who knows, but assuming that, say, the water is one giant polygon, right? It's one giant thing. You put a shader on. It's hard to tell, but you could put a shader on the water render, right? So it's rendering on top of everything else is drawn, and then it renders the water on top of it because it's transparent and it's influencing the color behind it. But here's the deal: when a shader is rendering, it can distort what's under it. So maybe it's doing some kind of sine wave pattern and shifting the pixels as it's going. Now that might create some weird shit on the it might create some weird aberrations on the left and right side, but depending on how much visual information is actually there. But I don't know how they do that. It's certainly manageable though, I would imagine. I'm not saying that's how they did it, I'm just saying that might be how they did it. Once you get mouse, go left of town since he can climb blocks. Okay, yeah, obviously the sky connects to the desert, yeah, right. Right? That's the other thing too, making intuitive connections can really help you navigate. Going to the, I don't know, the left side of town shows desert in the background and you exit the left side of town and oh, hey, whoa, you're in the desert. Yeah, okay, that makes sense, but you see a forest outside the town on the left side and then you enter it and then you end up in, I don't know, a volcano? Yeah, you're just gonna be scratching your head a little bit. Again, that comes down to landmarking. The forest, in this case, or the desert in the background, that's a landmark. The game looks very simplistic, but I guess since it's a one-to-one conversion of an old Master System game, I guess it would be, right? Like, it looks cool, but it also looks kind of boring at the same time. It's an old school game. It's actually easier with the new graphics. The old graphics, you just had to know. You can actually play the old version too, I think. Like the old version graphics still exist, like you can just switch it on the fly or something. Unless that was a different game. The lizard is the base fun, or the base form. Yeah, you can switch on the fly. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's cool. The new graphics are fine though. Hey, check that out. The way it shadowed it. Look at this. When he walks in front of it, and he gets like blotted out by the sun. I think that's like an actual shader. Cause look at, he's getting darker the more that he's inside the sun area. I don't think that's just an optical illusion. I think they've actually caused him to lose contrast and get darker. See, then he gets away and he lights back up. That's cool. That's really nice. That's a great effect. Because it feels like bloom. It's like artificial bloom. That's really good. And then he looks dark outside there probably because it's supposed to be shadowed. Yeah, because you see the shadows here? That's actually really nice. The difference with regular Metroidvanias is that you're locked out of forms when you get a new one until later you can freely swap. Okay, gotcha. So you're saying at first, once you swap, it's like it's a permanent thing until later, then you can start switching. I can see the logic in that. You're forcing them to get used to controlling each one. And then when you do have that level of control, then you say, all right, now you can select all of them and swap between them. That's kind of cool. All right, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. My throat's starting to hurt again. I'm never going to recover with you guys. No, it's fine. I'm glad you're all here. These are always fun. But yeah, I think, just to summarize, I think the idea of having two map screens and having them, you know, be layers of each other, so to speak, like proportional here, like this is the hallway map, and then you get to the level map, and it's proportionally, you know, the 1 and 3 and the 2 are here, 1, 3, and 2. It's almost like a zoomed in view in some respects. And then being able to click on a door, just being able to use the D-pad, move your cursor around the map, highlight the door and press A, and it'll send you to the corresponding door on the other map. I think those two simple things will do wonders for this. It would be nice if we could implement, you know, like, hey, check out the color trail of where you've been. And that'd be good too. But I think that's the optional one in this system. I think the better... Oh, excuse me. The first two ideas are absolutely pivotal. The map has to be laid out in proportion, and the you have to be able to click on a door to find out where you're gonna go. Because if you're like, hey, I want to get back to door 1. Say I'm in level 3, but I want to get back to door 1. I can go to this map, click this, and say, hey, oh, that's where that ends up. Okay, cool. You know, and then you could say, oh, well, where does this door go? You click on that one, and it's like, oh, it goes back here. Oh, okay, that's fine. You know, things like that. And having a special visual marker for them somehow, if possible. With the resolution, it might be a little hard, but now you could do this with designs. Say you're instead of being in a mansion, you're in a castle, and each area or each door has a crest on it. If you've got a high-res game, you can do that, and each crest can be unique, and then you can check between them. Yeah, I do have to play Iconoclast. I've been putting it off way too long. But yeah, I think that works. I think we've got a good idea here, and just so I don't forget it, let's save it, because I'll inevitably not save it. Here. Map concepts. Proportional maps example. Cool. And I'm not going to worry about this because the other example is better. And I'm not going to worry about that because the other example actually already kind of does that for me. Where's Ricky here? Gonna put Ricky down here where he was. I'm gonna save this, but I'm also gonna move it into that folder now. So we'll close it here. Map concepts. Yeah. There, now they're both there. Hooray! Okay, cool. I think we covered a lot of good ground. Why did Why you gotta put Ricky down? He goes down on the bottom of the map. Stay where you're supposed to be, Ricky. Don't be moving around that house like that. You don't get to move around. Anyway, so sure. Yeah, I think we're done for today. We actually got a very good discussion and a very good outcome. I think we'll have to just remember to actually implement it when time comes. All right, so I'm gonna be back on Sunday. We're gonna be playing a game. I'm not sure what it is. I'm itching to play a fighting game, so probably gonna be fighting game. Not sure which one yet. I wanna get more practiced with that. I feel like I haven't been using the stick a lot, and it's really bugging me. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then Monday, Melty, maybe Monday, Pocket Fighter EX game development. I've got lots of stuff to go over there, and that'll be fun. Guess there's not much to say about that. If you show up, you know what to expect. We do animations, we do programming, we do all the same stuff we do here. It's just for that fighting game. And then next Thursday I'll be right back here with more Retro Mansion game, and God knows what we'll talk about. I have no idea. I'm really super booked like this week and the next half week, so there's probably not going to be a lot of off-stream progress going on. Yeah, competitive hamster drop. I would like to add a second player mode to that. I've got ideas, just never implemented them. Would be interesting to throw rollback netcode into that. Anyway, so yeah, that's the schedule, and that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for hanging out. Extra super special thanks to Patreon. Oh, I do have an announcement about Patreon. So let me get my patron list here. So we do have one of the limited tier slots has opened up, and that is, let me pull it up. I should have had the tab open already. I think it's called S rank. I know, I gave them all goofy names. Yes, look at my page. Look at my page. It's killing me. All right, where's the tiers? It doesn't tell me. Of course it doesn't. Alright, that's fine. I'm pretty sure it's called S rank. Anyway, it's a $10 tier. I only have 2 slots open, or I only have 2 slots for that tier because the reward is you get to have a one-on-one session with me twice a month, and you get 2 hours on each one. So you get 4 hours a month to have me look at anything, ask me specific questions, have me break things down. It can be voice to voice, it can be through text, it doesn't matter. That one of those slots is now available. So if any of you out there want to have a little one-on-one, now's your chance to get in there before that slot gets taken, and then it will be held for God knows how long. It does suck up a lot of my time, that's why I only have 2 of them. I can't. Oh, here's the tiers, yeah. I know you can't see it, but I'm reading it here. Yeah, S rank. Okay, I did say on the tier that I will review, discuss, or analyze your project twice a month. So that has to be a project, and it doesn't mean a tax project. I know, doing someone's taxes. I tried to do my taxes once, and I learned the hard way. You don't do your taxes on your own. You hire someone. So no one should be coming to me to do their taxes. But anyway, yeah. So if you've got a project, I don't care. Maybe it's a writing project. It could be a pixel art project. It doesn't have to be a game. It could be anything. I mean, or you just want to shoot the shit one-on-one. I don't know. That's fine too. It'd be pretty liberal about it. But I'm not doing your taxes. I'm not doing that stuff. And to be very specific, I'm not working on your thing. This is to review, discuss, and analyze. I'm not going to be sitting there plugging away, like drawing your characters and stuff. It's like, hey, say you drew it, and you're like, hey, what do you think? And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Maybe change this. How about think about this? Like, et cetera, that kind of stuff. So, anyway, we got one open. So if anybody wants to jump in there, feel free. I always find those to be very interesting interactions with you guys. Those are always pretty interesting. A lot of good topics come up and a lot of analysis stuff. So yeah, that's there. Just want to get that out there, and that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna see you guys. Oh yeah, link for that's down below, and I think I put it in chat. If I can type it right, there you go. There, links in chat. Links down below. If you're watching this later, I guess unless you're watching on Twitter, in which case just check my Twitter profile and it'll be there. And that's pretty much it. I'm actually very hungry and tired now, so, and my throat hurts. I haven't been drinking enough water. We've been talking too much. I'm gonna drink more water. Great. Thanks everybody for hanging out. It's been a really great night. So I'll see you guys later, and scrub out.